Hey folks, welcome back to Biz Talks. My name is Rick Gutierrez. I am your host and your business advocate. Hey, we have a great time hosting this show because we bring experts onto the show, business experts that is, and they are here to enlighten us with all kinds of business information, education that take our business to the next level. And these are all tips, tricks, insights from people that have been in business for quite some time. And so we are definitely honored to have them all on the show and help us get our business to where it needs to be. And the reason why I say get our business where it needs to be is because an integral part of getting our business where it needs to be has to do with numbers, bookkeeping. We got to keep everything nice and clean and everything in our books. And so I have a guest that's going to be shedding some light on how we can definitely do that and put some practices into place. And so it's my honor to have Miss Nora back to the show from Nourasbooks. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Rick.
It's my pleasure to have you. We always have a great conversation, and every time we do, folks watching the show always come up with some, interesting questions. So, what do you say we have a conversation?
Yes, ready.
All right, wonderful. So, one of the things we were mentioning, well, as of last week, you mentioned the importance of resilience for nonprofits during economy uncertainties. Can you share some specific financial strategies, practices that you've implemented recently within these sectors, to help your clients, weather some of these challenges?
Sure. The main foundation we always go for nonprofits. The strategies that will never lose is building a good foundation with ideal donors. So if they have a good database with their ideal donors, they will never go hungry at any time. And that will always win. And this is the part of getting money. But then how they manage this money, how do they allocate these resources is the second part of it. Because if we only focus on getting the money and then we don't know how to expense this money, how to allocate it, like where should we get it to bring us more money, then it's going to lose. So you're going to waste all this money just like someone winning the lottery and then losing their money right away. So management of cash flow, even for nonprofit, is really important. Managing on where each penny will go, how are we going to spend it, what are we going to save for the time that we need more cash, and all of these is we need to take advantage of, we need to actually pay attention to and make sure we have a plan.
Well, one of the reasons why we want to make sure that all of that is in line is because a nonprofit is basically a business, right? I mean, you still have to conduct it as a business, and that's the reason why it's important. So thank you for elaborating on that. One of the other things was that last time we discussed how advanced technologies has come, particularly with data analytics and AI that are transforming your services. Can you give us an example of a client who has benefited from, significantly from the technologies that you've put into place for their practice, for their business?
So at Nourasbooks in general, we utilize technology a lot. We base more than we could pay for a rent or to own a place for technology just on a monthly basis. So because we want to make sure like everything is efficient, everything is we save time for our clients. So the clients who sees the most benefit from that, the clients who partner with us and more advisory service like CFO and coaching, we actually get them the most benefit from the technology that we use. We make sure they are um, ahead of time with with their other peers like in the same industry. We make sure we utilize data to utilize technology to analyze the data, like because some people will say, okay, I have my bookkeeping and my financial data in Excel, I have it in papers. Well, that is not going to be helpful when we want to analyze and make sure we know where we are maybe overspending, where we have a problem. Because when we use the most recent technology, we are able to identify where's the problem. We are able to identify who's the clients or the customers that give us the most value? Because you would be surprised. Like we don't recognize the client value. Like every time we deal with a customer or the clients, there's a journey for that client. Their journey might start with a small product that you have. I'll give example for our industry. So people in our industry in tax and accounting, for example, taxes, everyone needs to do taxes. So what happens there, their entry is taxes. And then from there, we figure out like, okay, you need bookkeeping, you need cash flow management, you need maybe this coaching program. So that's all the client journey. Sometimes we might think we're bringing money with, for example, taxes, or maybe with CFO services. This is the most of the money coming. But when we do the analysis and see how much each client bringing us, we know now, okay, the service we're getting most client is a CFO service, because people see the value and they can grow their business when they get into more than just bookkeeping or just tax preparation, that reactive service. It's more about proactive service. This is where we bring most of our money, because it's the value thing that our clients see a lot of return on investment. So this goes and that with every industry is the same, with different entry level for the client. But if we're doing an Excel, even some people like do pivot tables and complicated Excel, it's not going to be fast. It's not going to be efficient. A lot of area to do an error. I had a client, for example, they are keeping their book themselves in a pivot table. A lot of disasters are there when we move them to QuickBooks, when we move them to most advanced, like the online version where they always update this version. They saved more than $20,000 just using the software, because when and they were more efficient. When they ask any question, they can find an answer with just like a couple of clicks to get the reports, rather than just like getting an inaccurate data that's going to result in an accurate wrong decision that's not going to benefit the business at all.
Absolutely. So there's something to be said about having some systems, some processes in place for every single business. And, the financial aspect of it is one of them. So, being what you just mentioned about how your strategies and your technologies that you guys are using over at Nourasbooks to help businesses, you highly recommend everyone getting on board with a modern way of keeping track of their business. So let's talk a little bit about that strategic financial plans for your clients, right? So you may have had recently or in the past a scenario where your strategy was able to stabilize that organization and it set them up for the future, right? How crucial was that? Never mind, okay, let me go back. Let's not say crucial. How grateful was that business owner once you came on board and provided them with those solutions?
So that can break or make a business. So any financial plan. So for example, we have a client, I'm talking now about a nonprofit client, and that can actually apply for any business. But this is a nonprofit client who had grants coming in, and they were not able to grow their nonprofit because of that only one source of funding, grants from one vendor. It was a six-figure grant, but it wasn't flexible, of course, because grants, you have to stick to it. You have to spend exactly what they want you to spend. There is no room for growth. There is nothing. So when you diversify the funding opportunities, like bringing money from donors, from corporate sponsorship, from be creative in how to get more money, more funding, in other word, like if you are a business, more revenue stream, then now you're not relying on one source. You are getting more flexible funding. So we help that client diversify their funding opportunities where they are not relying on one source. That source more flexible. They have more freedom on how to spend and how to allocate those money. They were able to add 2 staff members that helps them grow 100% on that year, just for diversifying the fund. Because especially with nonprofits, when something happened, I'll give you an example. For example, like when the Syrian crisis was and it's on highest, a lot of grants were available for Syria. Now there are other causes, not much grant for Syria. So those organizations who were just relying on that fund from whatever that grant funding coming from, they had to either close or just reduce their operation, while those who built donor base, who built more relationship, built more than one stream of income, they are still able to grow and sustain their organization. And that goes with any business, not only with nonprofits. If you have a plan, alternative plan, like a strategy, like when COVID happened, a lot of people were not able to pivot, but businesses who were able to pivot and have an alternative way to work with their clients, they still survived. That's give you the difference between a business with a strategy and a business with just nothing, no alternative, no risk management.
Right. So, every time that we talk and we have these conversations, we can go on forever because there is just so much to unpack, so much to discover here with this particular topic with, Noura and Nourasbooks. So, Noura, we want to thank you for coming to the show. We've come to the end of the segment, but, we're going to continue to carry these conversations in future segments. Thank you for being here. Folks, stick around. We're going to be right back with another expert on the show. So we'll be right back.